Coming up in today's video, some reserve list moneymakers. Hey everyone, welcome back. MTG Moxman here. If you're new to my channel and you found me somewhere out there in the nacho cheese universe of YouTube, well, thanks a lot for checking out this content today. I really hope you guys enjoy it. And of course, to all my regular viewers, welcome back everyone. I can't wait to see people's comments in the comment section when I show you the list today. So this is a list of cards on the reserve list that have risen, fallen, doing whatever they do. But let's face it, no matter what happens on the reserve list, if the card is good enough and sees play, it always recovers and goes up a little bit higher each time. It goes like a nice cylindrical, right? So I'm going to show you some great cards today that are, some of them in this case, dipping down in price. So it's a good time possibly to grab some. But before we get started, remember everyone, this is an entertainment channel. This is not a financial advice channel. I am not a financial advisor. I didn't graduate Magic University. Nothing back here tells you anything other than I love Magic cards a lot. So let's take a look at some great cards today. Card number 1 is going to be Treachery. That's right. Can you believe it? When you see it in Urza's Destiny, one of those, that was it, the very first foil set, $589 in foil. Crazy. That's a US price. But if you just want to buy a Canadian edition one for 89 bucks for lightly played, you can get it on eBay. You can get it locally here in Toronto. Guys, it's 2 blue, 3 other. When it comes into play, you untap the 5 lands. You get the mana back. This card, the whole Urza block is so broken for reasons like this. You gain control of Enchanted Creature. Well, you control Enchanted Creature. I started getting ahead of myself there. But look at that. You just control it. So it's control magic without paying any mana for it. Treachery, you deserve to be on this list. You are an amazing card. And you can see it's been dipping in price. So if you're waiting to get a card like this, you might want to wait a little bit longer and see if it dips lower as people race to get to the bottom. But you can see here, the lower prices was around that $30, $40 level back in 2018. So it has slowly been climbing no matter what. But you might get lucky. You never know. Keep an eye out. Card number 2 today, and of course these aren't in any order. They're just the way I put them out. And that is Thanos' Coffin. I love this card. Love antiquities. You guys know that. Now, $200 Canadian for a heavily played copy. You can notice there, these sales are really dipping. This really hasn't had any sales in about 60 days almost, guys, on the eBay platform. There's been next to nothing. You can check it yourself. So when you see here that there's no sales, the price is tanking. It has fallen below 300, going below 2. I bought some around the 180 mark, I believe. I got some years before for like 90, but right now I think I have a play set. And a couple of them I think I paid the 180. And they're in pretty nice shape. But I look at this and say, for 200 bucks for heavily played, this is another one of those cards that will climb back up. It does see play. And there hasn't been any sales, so right now, people are forgetting about it. They've moved on to other things. But the reserve list buyouts always come back. Remember that. So a card like this really has an opportunity to come back. Next card is going to be Argivian Archaeologist. That's right. Now, the Argivian Archaeologist is another amazing card. I love this card from the day I saw it. Now, I think I was paying $0 because I opened it in packs. But at $221 Canadian, I actually stopped buying Argivian at $54. When he reached $54, that was the last copy I bought. I think I have 6 in total. And I stopped buying it. I know guys like Rudy at Alpha Investments really sing on this card. And I can see why. Like, 2 white, tap to bring an artifact back from your graveyard. Think about the things you can bring back with him. Think about the abuse he can go through. And there's so many ways of keeping your creatures alive nowadays that he can stay alive pretty much indefinitely. Even if he gets like exiled, there's ways of getting those guys back. This Argivian Archaeologist does not have to die like the artifacts he's investigating. He can stick around a long time. And at 3 casting costs, he's not hard to get out, guys. An amazing card for an amazing reason. And again, he's just starting to dip now, so pay attention to that. He may dip a lot lower, making him more available for players to grab. The next 60 days will be key for this card to see where it will lead us. Way to go, Argivian Archaeologist. Just come down a little bit more for us. Our next card we're going to talk about today is going to be Forcefield. Now, I hyped this card earlier in the channel when it was $80. And I told people to buy the collector editions for the 80 bucks, buy the heavily playeds for $200. And look where it's led us now. For those of you who listened and bought some of these cards, kudos to you, congratulations, you deserve it. This card, even now is $615 Canadian, is the cheapest I can find. This card was so underrated for so long that people just didn't understand the value of a card like this in Commander. Okay, when you look at this now, you see the price has dipped, gone back up, dipped, gone back up. It's on a little bit of a decline again. I think this card could drop as low as $500 Canadian if we wait a little longer to see if it's going to go down. And that's the whole point. Reserve list cards do rise and fall. You want to try to catch it on the downward slide. So I'm not saying go out and spend $615 to get a copy right now. I'm saying if it's a card you're after, get your trade stuff ready, get prepared in case one comes into your store, and see if you can catch this on a dip as it goes down a little bit further, making it more affordable for you to grab. An amazing card and amazing uses. Forcefield, you're awesome. Our next card is going to be Nova Pentacle. Now, I remember talking to people about this one on my channel when it was like a $25, $30 card. It has doubled in value. You can see it again. It's starting to decline, which is great for those who'd like to grab one. For a long time, it was an unrecognized card. But when used in Commander, redirecting damage to a source of creature to an opponent's choice is an amazing card to have around. And it's $70 Canadian for a lightly played copy on eBay. This is an affordable card for a lot of players to get their hands on. And let's face it, it's reserve list. It's from Legends. It is epic. It can be used in so many different situations that you just can't stop yourself from going, that's not that bad of a price. For the cost of a couple of cups of coffee a day for a month, you too could own yourselves a Nova Pentacle if you so choose to do so. Now our next card is going to be another great one, which is kind of funny. I put Conch Horn on here. I want to explain myself. I know, you're devastated. This card saw its first buyout ever when we had our buyouts in 2020, 2021. This card has been as high as like $20 Canadian, 25 Canadian, but it does do a good job. At 2 casting cost, 1, and it basically lets you brainstorm. That's an amazing thing to have happen, okay? I know it's not as great as a brainstorm when to have 2 cards, but it lets you put a card back from your hand, which is nice if you don't need it. So the Conch Horn is a decent artifact to get out. It's cheap to use. You can use it in desperation situations. And hey, if you really want to, you could bring it back with your Argivian Archaeologist. You could have it come back over and over again. He could just like glue it back together for you. You'll be set. Now it's $7. It's kind of funny to think of a Fallen Empires card reaching $7, but it does see play. It does go into Commander decks. For that reason, it's on the list, and I see the potential upswing 20 years from now. Who knows? This card, you know, if they don't outdo it or do something better, this card could really be a valuable piece of people's collections. Now, our next card is going to be Jester's Mask. That's right. I remember this card being like $3. I bought some. I have a couple. It was amazing when it first came out in Ice Age, being able to rearrange people's hands. But as I've said before, 5 casting cost, 1 to use it though, it does come into play tapped. Being able to mess with people in Commander or make a potential friend in Commander, since it kind of a negotiating thing goes on in that game, this can be a lot of fun. Jester's Mask is an awesome card to add to any Commander deck. That's what I like about artifacts. They can fit in anywhere. That's the point. What an amazing card to have. And that's something people forget. Reserve list cards, particularly artifacts, are something you want to have moving around, and they can go into any deck, which is why Wizards is kind of like, oh, we got to print things more color specific, because old artifacts can go anywhere into anyone's deck with no problems. And let's face it, Jester's Mask just looks a little bit creepy. $11 Canadian, very, very affordable, guys. I can see why people like to have it, and it's been declining massively. Let it fall for another 60 days. See if you can get it for like $7, $8 again. Awesome. Now our next card is going to be the Bubble Matrix. Now, 4 casting cost, I get it. It's from Weatherlight. Of course, these are all reserve list. All damage dealt to creatures is reduced to 0. So I want you to picture the abuse, the amazing fun you can have with a Bubble Matrix of your own. Hey, you don't have a lot of creatures? That's okay. That's okay. You can mess with a lot of people in Commander just by bringing this puppy out. It is a fun card to have. No activation cost, just everything goes to 0. It's awesome. $20 Canadian is very affordable. It has seen an upswing like all the other cards in the buyout, but look, it's dropping down just like the other ones, which means the potential upswing later on, when people recognize its greatness again, will be greater still if the market continues to go the way it is. Again, I'm not a financial guy, but It looks like a fun card to put in a deck, so I had to put it on the list. I mean, it's awesome. And the name, Bubble. Bubble. Come on. Now, our next card. That's right, Helm of Obedience, a serious card. This is Alliances. This card was used against me all the time as a teenager. Being able to flip people's graveyard, just flip things in, flip, until you get one of their creatures is amazing. And again, I remember my buddy bringing this back with Argivian Archaeologist. He would just bring it back. He got my Argivian, went back and got his own Helm of Obedience. Insane. I love this card. It's a great card. I can see why people love it. Now, it has gone up a lot in value compared to other cards out there. At $62, it is falling, and it will continue to fall probably below the $45 level, I think, if we wait for it. People aren't picking it up right now. There have been steady sales, but it's not like it's 10 or 12 a day. It's more like 1 or 2 a week. So although people are picking it up on the downward dip, it's got a ways to go. So it's a good card to keep an eye on. Sales are consistent, but they are slower, as with most reserve list cards right now. And our final card I want to show everyone today is going to be, that's right, Temporal Aperture. This is kind of like that Hail Mary card, the one that's going to save you in the end. Now, two to cast, very simple. 5 though, and you got to shuffle your library up, and then the top card gets flipped over, and you can basically play it for free. Its casting cost is 0. It can be an amazing card, but it's also that like life-saving card when you desperately need it and nothing else will save you. It's that last-ditch effort. Artwork looks great, and let's face it, at $20 and reserve list, it's not going to cost an arm and a leg. It has been dipping down like the other cards here. Like I've said, these kind of slowdowns allow people to catch up, catch their breath, and it's like, would I rather open 2 packs of Dungeons and Dragons set boosters, or would I rather buy a reserve list card? You see where I'm going with this? It is something to think about. It's the funny thing about the reserve list. It goes in waves. But what we've noticed over the years is as the reserve list gets bought and sold, it always seems to be slightly higher each time. That's the way the market seems to go as people gather these cards and collect them. Now, let's face it, if everyone dumps their cards at the same time, it would be a massive crash. It'd be hilarious to watch. Which is why I always tell you guys, these cards could go to 0. They could be worthless. They're cardboard. But if everyone holds on, if people actually believe they have value and hold on for the long term, that's a whole different beast. Because as you collect the 2nd, 3rd, 4th tier reserve list cards, they are going up in value. They are disappearing. And the older the reserve list card, the better it seems to be if they have a use. The ones that don't have direct uses or just pretty artwork, I can see how those don't really go up as much as the cards that actually have some playability. Cards like Forcefield are just underrated and underappreciated, and they should be so much higher than they are. It's something to really keep an eye on for the future for some of these cards because they're going to go higher, I believe, at some point, personally. Although I don't own all these cards, I can see there's potential value in them later on as players develop and play their game. I love it, man. That's what makes Magic so exciting. It's not just the game itself, it's that collectability, the conversations we have. It blows my mind sometimes that I get the honor and privilege of speaking to you guys daily about this stuff. It's just something out there. So everyone out there, thanks again for tuning in. This is MTG Mox, man. Leave those comments in the comment section. Let me know what you all think. I can't wait to talk to you guys. Have a great one. Hey everyone, big shout out of course to all my patrons out there. Patrons make this world spin round and round for me. They make the channel possible. Thank you very much to all my patrons. Thank you very much. Guys, have a great one. I'll see you on Sunday. Hey guys, you've made it to the end of the video. Congratulations, you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded for making that far. I'm going to share some cool old toys with you. This is Vincent. Vincent is from The Black Hole, a Disney movie I think was 1981. Kind of creepy. Had like Francis Borgnine stuff in it. And like, it was kind of like really creepy, some of the stuff that was going on there. But you know what? This toy as a kid blew my mind. There was this guy, Vincent. These are like laser guns he would blow up the bad guys with. And of course there was old Bob, which is like a different version of him that was like a uncle, grandfather type model compared to the newer one, which was Vincent in the film. Very epic movie as a kid. Kind of creepy and scary. Gave me nightmares, I'm sure. But awesome. So we're going to put good old Vincent up there to hang out because he's vintage. He's vintage like me. And then, of course, Squid Head. That's right. AFA rated. action figure authority, rated just like we do our Magic cards now with PSA or BGS. The funny thing is, although I bought this 15 years ago, its price has not changed. It's almost the exact same as what I bought it for. So be aware, guys, collectibles don't always go up. You just have to enjoy them and say, if it goes to zero, who cares? You wanted it. That's how it goes. All right, guys? Thanks a lot for tuning in. Squidhead says thank you, and so does Vincent. Guys, I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day today.